Atlanta's been growing like crazy for a while now, except for this one period of time, and it made me suspicious. So when we look at this graph of population history for Fulton County, the growth is obvious, which makes a lot of sense. For one, Atlanta has an extremely stable economy that generally keeps up with the nation, and the median household income is 18% higher than the nation's. So it makes sense that the population is growing. These are all good things that make for a thriving city. So I looked a little deeper and I checked the date when the population began to decline. The date the decline began for Fulton County was in 1972 when it peaked at 605,000 people. And when I was conducting research online, I really couldn't find a conducive answer as to why this decline happened, because it's usually something like a shift in industry or a market crash. But what I did find were a few personal anecdotes of all the things that were happening at the time. And one point of view that I found is that at the time, Atlanta was experiencing a peak in black representation. The city elected its first black mayor in 1974, and the city's new title of black majority felt evident because all their doctors, lawyers, etc. were all also black. So then, this prevalence of black representation triggered some white families to move to the suburbs. Because remember, the civil rights movement wasn't long before this. Now, another point of view is that Atlanta's growth simply just became too cumbersome for the population. The city's economy was growing, and so was the population. So every family, white, black, Asian, etc., were moving to the suburbs to escape the hustle bustle of the city the instant they could afford to. And I can also see this being true because when you look at this ethnicity spread map, you see that Fulton County and the counties surrounding Fulton, aka the suburbs, all have their own white and black populations, with the exception of the northern counties being primarily white. So what I want you to take from this is that there are stories hidden in data. From a simple blimp in a population history graph, it inspired me to do research on a city I've never visited before, and learn a few different point of views as well as learn about the history of the city. So I challenge you to do the same, and if you lived in Atlanta during the 70s, what was your experience? All the data comes from Ursus.com, and be sure to follow if you want to learn more things like why.